should see the doctor.
Empa he ha ile hlokomelile le hantle go ba le ba bona ngaka ha ba bonahala ba le bana le di-injury.
But if it was noticed, it was proper that they be taken to the doctor.
Yes, I was really hoping for your input into how we should look at it, because even when they were captured, their captors did not assault them, but the correctional officers came to assault them after they had been captured. They had been overcome. Then they are now assaulted by correctional officers who are bound by their law to protect inmates. The people who captured them were under no obligation of the Correctional Service Act. But those who are under that act are the ones who assault people who have been overcome. What can you say?
Ke man mo nka ka go mtlhomphe ke gola ka ha escape le ke nngwe dintho tse sa tlwaelegang kapo tse sa tse seng monate ka hara setsi.
This is why I said that, because an escape is something which is not nice and which is a bad thing in the facility.
Ka nna ba neng ba etsa ditaba tseno ke hobane bana ba kgannwa ke kgalefo.
It could be that those who were doing that were being driven by fury.
Ya ba sebedisa force e ka hodimo go ye bana ba ka e sebedisa haeba ba beamba batho ba taolong.
And they ended up using extreme force or more force than necessary to put those people under control.
Ola ke ntse ke dumela go tšha le teng bane ba ke ba tshwara e tlile bana ba tla ba tshwara ka thata ha ba tshwara e seng jwalo ka motho a tshwarwang fela tjena.
Mr. Mathaba, I'm just raising this one because I'm worried with some of the answers that we get, to an extent that I would want to understand how plausible they are. I've seen even senior officers in this institution being defensive, unnecessarily so. You would have just accepted that here we act. You understand?
That is so true.
Weren't there other cells where you could have taken these inmates to instead of punishment cells? We are told that Block D is used as for isolation purposes, and we saw that on the 22nd there were cells, or we had evidence that there were cells that were vacant. Why didn't you take them there? Isolate them in Block D.
Ka Block D ka mono mhlomphile ka le hlakola le ka ntlwana le sebetsi ka ofela ka lebaka la di-toilet tse sa sebetseng o sebetsa le hlakole ka
The other side in Block D is not operational, it's not used because of toilets which are not working.
So would you say that if we were to investigate this issue, we will establish that on the 21st, you didn't have any other vacant cells where you could have taken these inmates, the escapees, except taking them to punishment cells? Would you say that?
Not okay.
Hakina cholo hakalokalo mhlomphile ha ke sa le sure gona hana kana gone ho na le tseteng ka di ka mo.
I may not necessarily say so, because I do not recall at this time as to where that there were vacant cells at that time in Block D.
Fela ke hopola hore ka mora nako ile ga tlameha ho ntsha ba bang seleng ka pele seleng e wana ntse dutla ho yona ya ba re tlo ba kenya ka mono.
But I recall that at one point we had to remove one inmate from his cell when we were taking those ones from punishment cells.
cell 90.
Yeah.
See,
I'm from the Kasiga Monasel and
Yes, Chair. In block C.
and
cell 90.
that was up there, ma'am.
I guess I'll show handling from Pionana.
I'm not sure as to after how long it was.
And the conditions in punishment cells are harsh. Conditions in punishment cells are harsh compared to other cells.
Maemo a bophelo ka mano ka di-punishment selling a harsh haholo ho feta di-cell-eng tsena tse ding kapa di-cell-eng tse ding. The intake is not same as the other normal in these other cells.
And they are on spare diet when they are there.
I don't think the spread diet is still there.
Okay. Even if you don't know if spare diet is there, you have accepted that the conditions there are different and they are harsh. And I don't know why you remain behind as Mr. Manaka went on interdiction, isn't it?
That is so true.
To the best of your knowledge, did these people, did they ever face any disciplinary action? Yes, these ones who had escaped.
I'm from the
No, Chair, we opened a case at the police station.
Meaning they were not disciplinarily charged for escaping.
That is so true.
But nonetheless, they remained in punishment cells for a month.
The
plan was not to punish them as such, but was to separate them from others.
That's why I'm saying this explanation, Mr. Mathaba, you see, there are things that are patently obvious. You understand? That are patently obvious. This explanation is not plausible. You didn't explore and establish if you have any other cells beyond punishment cells to take these inmates to.
You took them
directly to punishment cells. That's why I'm saying you didn't establish if you didn't have any other vacant cells.
In
It could be that there wasn't any vacant cell at that time, hence we had to move the other inmate from his cell so that we could move this ones.
The simple question, you didn't establish if you had any other cells, vacant cells, other than punishment cells. Before you took this inmates escapees to punishment cells.
That is so true.
You see, it's simple. Also, you see, management was there. You saw how brutally these inmates were assaulted. Honestly, you cannot say, oh, it escaped our minds or that we should have taken them for medical attention. People that you saw how brutally they were assaulted. You understand? You can't honestly say, no, it escaped our minds that we should have taken them for medical attention. When you were there, you saw how brutally they were assaulted.
Kanti ke ba rela tswe ke le leng tabeng go ba isa ngakeng. O na le teng le bone gore na ba hlokofaditswe ha kae.
Ka le ditle mohlomphehile ha e ka ba ya tla hore ka batho bana ba ye kwana.
Indeed, Chair, did not dawn on our minds.
You see, that one, Mr. Mathaba, maybe you should not have even raised it. That you saw how badly people were injured, but it doesn't come to our mind that we have to take these people for medical attention. That's why I'm saying maybe if you had placed another reason, that one. I'm going to put this proposition to you, Mr. Mathaba. I said sometimes, you see, if you go for a medical attention and you don't tell your doctor the truth, his diagnosis is going to be based on the information that you gave him. And that would have been a wrong information. So there are certain things that you don't have to beat about the bush. Where sometimes as a human being, you have to accept responsibility. In my own assessment of the situation, it could be you are not aware that before people can be taken to punishment cells, or before they are being taken for solitary confinement, for instance, there must be due disciplinary process. Or even if you isolate him today, for instance, because he is a danger, you must, as soon as possible, have disciplinary process to determine if he has to remain in solitary confinement. You see, if you are saying, oh, we are not aware of these processes, it would be understandable. But now you are not even saying you are not aware of these processes. The arguments that you raise, as I'm saying, they are not plausible. They show people who are not prepared to take responsibility and say that here we erred. Perhaps because of lack of knowledge. As I'm saying, it's unimaginable that you can say people who you were aware that they were brutally assaulted, it's escaped your memory that they should be taken for medical attention. And you can insist that these people are not taken there as a punishment, while you accept that the conditions there are harsh. You can't dispute that they spend a month there. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just being frank, Mr. Mathaba, that see, some answers are not plausible. Some answers are not plausible and shouldn't really come from senior officers of this institution. You understand my concern?
That is so true.
Anything that you can say? Maybe you're going to still insist that, no, we knew the processes, but we didn't follow them. Because that would be the net effect. You are free to say so. I'm actually raising this issue because I was worried. It was the commissioner who asked it, but I was worried with the answers that you gave, you understand? Hence I said, let me test if they are plausible.
Ke botsa dipotso tsena hobane ke utlwa ke kgathatsehile potso ena ne botswe ke ntate commissioner ka motho dipotso dikarabo tsa hao ke tsona tse ke utlwileng ke sa di utlwisise hantle ke mokgwa ne ke batla hore ke hle ke di fatisise ke utlwe hore na o ntso re eng.
I don't know if you have anything to say.
Ha ke tseba hona le ntho hape le o lakatsang ho le tjho.
You could be want to maintain your original position and say, look, these people were not taken there as a form of punishment.
Ke utlwa ditaba tsa hao Mhlompheng. Ke a utlwisisa na hore Mhlompheng.
I understand what you're saying, Chan.
Okay.
Adamashalo,
Sir,
being part of this commission, traditionally, punishment cells have been for a long time being used as isolation blocks. Not so.
ho jwalo Mhlompheng.
That is so.
And then that tradition has not changed up to now, but initially, isolation cells have always been used. So punishment cells has been used as isolation blocks.
Ho jwalo Mhlompheng.
That is correct.
But later on, it was brought to the attention of the correctional institutions that punishments such as solitary confinement and spare diet should not be inflicted before the medical officer can examine that person. Are you aware of that?
Mhlompheng ho jwalo sir.
Yes, that is correct.
But this one of isolation, it has been a tradition which has been used for a long time, that those people who are put in, old people who are punishment cells are used as isolation block, as solitary confinement, as well as spare diet. But this one of isolation is a tradition which we can say, you can recognize after being conscientized by the commission that it is wrong to put somebody in the solitary confinement before undergoing disciplinary cases.
Ho jwalo Mhlompheng.
That is correct.
Because recent developments show that no prisoner should be disciplined without adhering to the principle of rule of law and the rules of natural justice. It is emphasized that we should observe that in the modern days.
Ho jwalo Mhlompheng.
That is correct.
So that was a remark which I wanted to highlight, that this one of isolation is it was used as a punishment, was used as isolation block, and this commission is bringing us to attention that that is wrong to do that.
Mhlompheng.
Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah, and as I had said at some stage, that whoever made these rules had foresight, because it's already there in the rules. It's not even something new. You understand? In the prison rules, you understand? They were already expected inmates to be given a fair hearing when punishment is supposed to be imposed on them. You understand?
Mhlompheng.
Yes. So, anything else to say, Mr. Matlelele?
A se ke a leboha Mhlompheng, ke ithutile Mhlompheng hore na ha o hlokomedisa ditaba tseno tsa hore na mohlomong matshwaro ba lokela ba treatment before ba ka ba punishwa kapo ba etswa ka mokgwa wa punishment. Ke ithutile ke kgola ehlile ke ne ntse ke na le mokgwa ono wa ho ba beha mono ke taba fela ya hore ke ba arola ho ba bang jwalo ka Commissioner Thulan tsa tjho empa ha o hlalosa ke a utlwisisa hore ehlile ka molao ha wa lokela ho bua.
Okay. Otherwise, you are excused, Mr. Mathalabe, if you don't have further submissions to make. Thank you so much for your testimony.
Ke a leboha Mhlombe.
Yes. Mr. Mkheshwe, it's like you are eager to testify before your seniors. Or you are saying we don't recognize seniority here. Yes.
Okay, number 45507, Deputy Commissioner Tsolo, Mushawana Tsolo.
Phamso tsala le tona he o phete ka baka gore ke hlapanya go pa ke bo tlo fana ka bona
Ke tlhapanya ropa ke bo tlo fana ka
ba
bona.
nnete
Ke ba
nnete
nnete.
fela se ho
Nnete fela seng ho.
Modimo nthusi.
Modimo nthuse.
Chair, the witness has been sworn.
Yes, Mr. Sole can proceed. You recall the issue for which you were called. That's the issue which you felt strongly that you have to ask Mr. Managa questions, because now he had created the impression that you all knew that that tower maximum was not being met. You can proceed and testify. Unless if you would say you want the commission to ask you questions.
Please, my lord, with due respect, may I be guided by questions?
Okay. What in case I may ask you questions which you may have already dealt with them, please don't feel offended. Bear with me. I'm sure we have now processed close to 200 witnesses. They will tell me. So you can just imagine information that we have in our small brains. So sometimes we can forget certain things. Did you, at the time that you testified at some stage, confirm that indeed you were part of the meeting with Mr. Managa and Mr. Mahau, where you discussed about maximum tower not being met?
I confirm that I was there, my lord.
Would you also confirm that, or rather tell us in your own words, how did you conclude the discussions relating to meaning of that tower?
Thank you, my lord. Actually, it came as a shock that the tower, and the real one for that matter, had continuously been unmanned. That is why I concurred with the instruction given to ACC Managa that it had to be manned from thenceforth.
So what you are saying is that the resolution in that meeting, of course, which was by way of an order to Mr. Managa, was that that tower must be manned from the date of the meeting.
That is so, my lord.
Would you recall when you had that meeting?
I can't exactly remember, but after the escape, Senior Assistant Commissioner Mahao came to my office reporting that the inmate has escaped from Central. And the escape route has been through the very tower that I had instructed the officer commanding to man it. He had previously reported to me that he had had a tour of inspection here at Central, and he was aware that the tower was not manned. And he gave an instruction to those people who were in charge then that, hey, people, make sure that this tower is manned. So that meeting, which we had, the three of us, it was a follow-up instruction to the one he had already given.
Okay. The meeting was where you participated was after the escape.
No, it must have been before the escape, Maseru.
Okay.
That is why when he reported to me, he said, the tower which I had emphasized that it should be manned is the place through which the inmates got out.
Okay. When you say the tower which I had, you refer to yourself or Mr. Mahao?
SAC Mahao, my lord.
Okay, okay. He was in the tower which I had instructed that it be manned. Okay. But you are saying the meeting, you had had the meeting even prior to the escape concerning that tower.
That is so, my lord.
Okay. Because there was confusion when we began the proceedings as to which one is maximum tower. You are talking about the tower that is attached to maximum.
Yes, my lord, the one that is annexed to the building.
Okay. And that is what is referred to as maximum tower.
That is so, my lord.
How about that tower which we were told that it was outside, meaning that it was not fenced inside? What was to happen? But now we have realized that it is fenced inside. What was to happen to it?
We had been made to believe that the construction of that tower had some defects. Hence, it was concluded that it might have been risky for officers to be posted there. Hence why I was told even the LDF personnel refused to use it because of the danger of being exposed. That is, the person or people manning it. It was strongly felt that they would be exposed to the outside.
Okay. When you say we had been told, would it mean that you hadn't verified that yourself, or you had verified it at some stage?
We as a security office, my lord,
Yes.
we are the recipients of the construction works, which are led by another section.
Yes.
And that section is the planning section.
Yes.
They are the ones who design in collaboration with the BDS. Ours is to advise that we need a tower. For instance, if you are talking about this one, you might have said, we need a tower at that rear end. So that happened to be part of the construction process that was happening here at Maseru Central Correctional Institution. But it had never been meant by our personnel since its construction.
Okay, no, I was just on this issue. When you said it had been brought to our attention, did you verify that yourself, or that in fact this tower was exposing officers to some risks? It cannot be used?
Yes, that is so, my lord.
Okay. I also want to understand that you as you said, you are recipient of this of the tower, for instance. People who were involved in this construction is BDS from works as well as your planning office, isn't it?
That is so, my lord. Through our advice, because we are consulted as the security office.
Yes. I would have thought that before anyone can bring anything that is security related that person must get your requirements clearly. You understand? Including specs. I want a tower, and bear in mind that when you construct a tower for our own purposes, it must have these features. This is how it must look like. Did that happen as far as that tower is concerned?
I doubt if it did happen, my lord. I think at that time I was not in the operations section.
Okay.
So I just assumed that there were proper consultations. Even
which-
my subordinate, SAC Mahao, I think he was in school then.
Okay. In which section were you?
Rehabilitation.
Okay. Okay. So, but in your view, the tower does not meet your requirements.
Partly, my lord.
Okay. 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 Besides it, because the issue that was raised with us was that it was not fenced inside. What were other defects?
My lord, some of the
You don't feel comfortable mentioning them.
in public.
They haven't been addressed.
They've been partly addressed, like I'm saying, my lord, but even to date, I'm not
100%. Okay.
Thank you, man.
Okay. So, meaning that, would I be correct to say, okay, if that tower was not usable, the tower that you had really wanted to be manned is maximum tower?
That is so, my lord.
Okay. When you earlier testified, I had asked, how then do you, because you are at the headquarters, how do you ensure that things happen as they are supposed to happen at the operations level? Yeah.
Every time I look at my mom, I see my world. I see a protector, a provider. I see a friend like no other. Sometimes I sit and wonder, how do we protect such beautiful creatures? Well, sometimes you can't, especially against things like death. The least we can do is to encourage them to take Tory funeral plan, because they take care of us when they are here, and Tory will take care of us when they are gone.
My name is Madia. I flew in from Johannesburg. I found the flight through a social media post, Facebook to be exact.
How did you find the flight from Johannesburg to Maseru?
Very short, but comfortable. Actually better than I expected for a small charter flight.
Was there a reason why you hadn't chosen a competitor?
I think for me it was mostly about convenience, and effective communication between the airline over email and messaging.
The countdown to the second International Political Campaigns Expo IPE 25 has begun. We are thrilled to invite you to register for the most electrifying political campaigns event of the year. This year's theme is Unlocking Voting Potential, the art of resourcing and skilling for winning campaigns. Look forward to innovative exhibits, interactive sessions with industry trailblazers and unparalleled networking opportunities. Connect with political campaign professionals from over 26 African countries holding elections in 2025 and 2026. Gain exclusive insights into the latest trends and technologies driving political campaigns. Mark your calendar for January 23rd and 24th, 2025 and be part of the future of political campaigning. Visit www.internationalpollexpo.com to register. We can't wait to see you there.
Your offices related to, for instance, letters which would have been written by station commanders directly to him, or some other things, not to operational reports. You understand? Yes. You are saying, yes, I have a similar complaint, but that does not relate to operational reports. You get what I'm saying?
Not exactly, my lord.
Okay. If, for instance, Ms. Manaka has a complaint here or a query that staff here wants to work for 7 days off, he writes directly to Commissioner.
Yes,
instead of talking to you first. You understand?
Yes, my lord.
I'm making an example, but that's the situation which Mr. Ma was talking about. I'm just making an example. Maybe it inside this very same example. You understand that?
Yes, my lord.
But as far as operational reports are concerned, he was saying, no, I still get them. And then I share them with my supervisor, being Deputy Commissioner Operations.
I agree, my lord.
You agree?
That is so, my lord.
Okay. And he said this in his testimony. I get daily reports, I get weekly reports, I get quarterly reports, and I get yearly reports. And he even said that this is what we use for monitoring and evaluation. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, my lord.
Are you following? Do you confirm? Do you also get those reports?
As far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know,
yes,
the reports, like I've been saying, they go straight to the commissioner's office. He may be referring them to the security office, the relevant ones. And they may not even get to me unless through the senior assistant commissioner's reports, those that may need my attention for guidance.
Okay. Clarify your earlier evidence there, because you said you get reports from regarding operations from your senior assistant commissioner. But now it's like you are saying, no. They are only given to me on a need basis. I don't always get them. They go to commissioner. Sometimes if you want something, I can get them. I just want clarification there.
Thank you,
Because if I honest, I'm saying when you earlier testified, you said you got reports. When you asked, the question was then, how do you ensure that things are happening as they should? You are at a strategic level, but you are still accountable for what happens here. If that is your department or division, the question was, how do you ensure that these things do happen? And you said, I get reports from my senior assistant commissioner, operations. That's why I could even remember you had said operations. Hence I'm saying, clarify to me, is operation and security one the same thing?
Thank you, my lord.
Yes.
We meet daily with the senior assistant commissioner.
Yes.
He will tell me the daily unlock. Every day,
Yes.
I know the number of inmates we will have unlocked.
Okay.
I will know the high-profile escorts, if there are any, but many times we have those. And some other things that may need my attention. Those are just examples. But can I make another example? The other time he was reporting to me that he had got a report from the Division Commander South that 7 officers had been dismissed. Then I said to him, hey, Moren, I'm getting this from you while I'm seated here, and you're telling me you're getting it from Mohale's Hook. How did he get there? We laughed because we know it. That is how things have been happening. I'm making an example that it may not be everything that I know as the Deputy Commissioner Operations. Sometimes we get it in the reverse order.
Yeah, I understand that. So, these reports which you get from Mr. Mao, it's oral reports?
That is so, my lord.
Okay. So what you are telling the commission is that you don't get weekly reports from stations from Mr. Mahau. You don't get monthly reports, you don't get quarterly reports, and you don't get yearly written reports from your assistant commissioner.
Okay.
Except because you said they are routed through the commissioner, the office of the commissioner, but sometimes you get them if he wants you to address certain things.
Maybe I have to tell what used to happen. I was in that office for quite some time. I've been Senior Assistant Commissioner Operations.
Yes.
And at that time, all the reports upon receipt at the registry office, the office would direct them to different sections. They would know that this report is a security report, this one has to go to planning, or this one has to go that. And I personally had some issues with the then commissioner because I was aware that my position, I was supposed to monitor the stations, and the commissioner was also doing the same. Then I complained that, say, I may not be quoting what I said, but that was the root of the complaint. And in reply, he made a circular that all stations will be monitored by the commissioner's office. That was in 2012. That circular has not been repealed. I have a copy with me. So I may be surprised when things are going the other way, but I always remember that circular that after all, I was deprived of my responsibilities in the operations section. So when Senior Assistant Commissioner Mahau arrived, I knew that he would have some limitations, as I had, but we've been managing up to this far.
Yeah.
In other words, I'm sorry, my lord.
Yes.
The station commanders are supervised by the three of us, the commissioner, myself, and the senior assistant commissioner. That is what is prevailing up to now. And unfortunately, the commissioner has an upper hand.
Yes, but let's deal with this one. I need to understand your testimony. Are you saying you don't get weekly written reports, which we saw? You don't get monthly written reports. You don't get quarterly reports written. You don't get yearly written reports or returns. You don't receive them. You don't receive them.
I don't receive them. I get extracts from those reports. Anything that might need my attention, I'll get it through the senior assistant commissioner.
Or senior assistant commissioner gives you extracts?
Yes, my lord.
Okay. Do you know where you would have gotten this reports himself, or from the registry they are taken to senior assistant commissioner?
I suppose the commissioner will have minuted them to the security office, who then report to the senior assistant commissioner.
Okay. Meaning you don't get all the reports.
That is so, my lord.
Okay.
Maseru, things being normal and as a tradition, all the mail that comes from the district go to registry, and the registry brings the files to the office of the commissioner. It has been a long tradition because one of the directors said that those people who are below him are sabotaging him. So it was said that all mail should be addressed to the commissioner. And things being normal, the commissioner has to address matters relating to security to the deputy commissioner responsible for security.
Let him, it's a launch, let him confirm it if he, so that it don't appear as if now you are giving testimony. If you have to put it to him as a question.
Yeah.
You understand what he's saying?
I'm afraid, my lord, unless I'm guaranteed protection, because Commissioner Tule is the very commissioner who made that circular. So it appears to me now that he wants to defend that decision he made.
No. You don't need should I say you need protection?
I'm sorry, my lord.
If he there is nothing wrong with you disclosing. You understand?
I do, my lord.
I can see that you didn't want to disclose earlier on. Now you are raising it because of the question that he asked. But do you confirm that there is that circular which says this is what is to happen? That all, but you already said what he's talking about. That there is that circular which says all mail has to go through. It is taken to commissioner. I think that's what more or less the same thing you are saying. Then he will then route it to your assistant, and your assistant will give you extracts. Isn't it?
Not so. He gives you to the deputy director, deputy commissioner.
Let me. Is that what you are saying? That commissioner? In short, you are saying from registry. Do you know if from registry these files are taken to commissioner?
Yes, my lord, I do.
They are taken to commissioner.
That is so, my lord.
Okay. Then what does commissioner do? To whom does he minute them for action? For you as deputy commissioner, or for senior assistant commissioner?
Sometimes, as the case may be, he might direct them to me or any relevant office. But what Commissioner Chu is saying right now is that all files go to the commissioner, who will then minute to the deputy commissioner. It's not prevailing now. It might have been happening during his commissionerhood, but it's not what is happening now.
Okay. Meaning that sometimes you do get, sometimes he minutes them for action for you, sometimes for your senior assistant commissioner.
That is so, my lord. Even officers below the senior assistant commissioner.
Or even officers below senior assistant commissioner. Meaning that you don't get all the reports from stations.
That is so, my lord.
Okay. Okay. You once acted in commissioner's office, isn't it?
That is so, my lord.
You followed the circular as well, that had said, let them all come to office of commissioner.
I wouldn't. It's just that during that time, all officers were on strike. So I was dealing with the strike.
Okay, okay, I understand. Okay. Oh, you were not fortunate to implement your strategies because officers were on strike.
That is so, my lord.
You had to deal with the strike.
That is so.
Okay, okay. I see. So, you have a question, Commissioner?
I have another follow-up, sir.
But you shouldn't testify, Commissioner. You have to ask him questions.
Are you aware that as a strategic officer, that initially, when additional positions of deputy commissioners, we had a deputy commissioner operations, and then we had the deputy commissioner administration and deputy commissioner planning. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware, my lord.
Are you aware that when the positions of senior assistant commissioner were established together with the public service, we had a senior assistant commissioner, security, administration, health, legal, planning, and then we have a deputy, a director of rehabilitation. Are you aware of that? We didn't have a senior assistant commissioner operations, but we had a senior assistant commissioner security who falls under the deputy commissioner operations. But you change that, not following what the public service has directed us.
Yes.
I'm afraid it might be my word against the commissioners.
No,
I am.
No,
may I continue, my lord?
No. Let's
respect.
No. I think it's a matter of nomenclature. You see, deputy commissioner, the senior assistant commissioner, operations or security, and I would have thought that you said you don't attach any significance to that.
That is so, my lord.
It can either be operations or security, and that way you had said operations earlier on, you actually meant security because you can use them interchangeably. Isn't it what you said?
I did, my lord.
Okay.
What I wanted to highlight is that the commissioner might have forgotten that I'm one of the two proponents of the position of senior assistant commissioner. It was myself, senior assistant commissioner operations, and my counterpart, senior assistant commissioner planning. The others followed maybe some years or a year later. So I wouldn't forget that it was not senior assistant commissioner operations when I was the first person to enter that office.
Okay. Okay. Let's proceed. See, now you are reminding each other with the commission, and I'll forget what I wanted to ask you, which is very relevant to what we are inquiring. You were saying that because we have to get it clearly.
Yes, madam.
These reports which I said, Mr. Mao said that he gets, because that's what he said when he testified. I still remember that he said for M&E. So you are saying these reports, they are submitted to registry. From registry, they go to commissioner's office. Then sometimes commissioner would give you certain reports, sometimes you don't get them.
That is so, my lord.
Sometimes you will get these reports as extracts from Senior Assistant Commissioner Mahau.
That is so, my lord.
Okay. Let's talk about the reports which would show that the tower was not being manned. Because Mr. Manaka is saying I've consistently, both my diary and my reports would consistently show that that tower was not manned, and my superiors must have been aware of that. Didn't you get one of the reports which reflected that after the meeting which you had with him, where he was directed to ensure that the tower was manned?
I may have not, I may not have got them, because the daily reports from the officers commanding pertain to the daily unlocks, like I said. So since he has decided, I'm not even against that, to photocopy the page of his diary, I will take what I need, which is the unlock.
Okay, let me understand. Now I was not yet on the diary, but let's deal with it. You are saying if in this diary, which we were shown, which is shared with Mr. Mao shares with you as well?
Not exactly, because if
Mr. Mao, yes,
he will come to my office having consolidated all the daily unlocks.
Okay.
I won't even see the copy of the diary.
Okay.
He will have extracted the numbers himself.
Okay. Of relevant information that you need.
That is so, my lord.
So it's like you are saying, then, if that's what Mr. Mahau does, the question of you having seen from Mr. Manaka's diary whether the tower was manned or not wouldn't even arise if he doesn't bring that diary to your attention, but he just takes relevant information that you need. You get what I'm saying? You were saying, I may or I may have not, but then deal with the diary. But then you are saying, look, as far as the diary is concerned, he doesn't give me the diary, but he extracts relevant information from diary, consolidate it, and give it that information to me.
That is so, my lord.
And hence I'm asking, that relevant information which he extracts, does it also include deployment?
No, my lord, except for the high-profile escorts.
Yes. Okay. Meaning it doesn't reflect the duty roster at all?
Yes, my lord.
Okay. Are we of the same understanding that from the diary or from information that is extracted from the diary, because Mr. Mahau extracts information which he requires, he doesn't take all the information. From that information, you wouldn't know if the tower is manned or is not manned.
That is so, my lord.
Okay. It's because you said I may or I may have not. Or were you relating to weekly reports and monthly reports?
It's because in the absence of Senior Assistant Commissioner Mahau, that copy of the diary is directly forwarded to me.
Oh,
that is why I'm saying, in my records, I might realize that.
Oh, I understand. That in Mr. Mao's absence, that Mr. Manaka directly sends that to you.
That is so, my lord.
Would it mean that when Mr. Mahau is not around, nobody is appointed to act as Senior Assistant Commissioner?
We haven't done it that way, because in his absence, he would normally be on annual leave, which normally doesn't take a very long time. That is why the report will come straight to me.
Okay. So, would it mean then that if you say you may have seen it or you may have not seen it? It's possible that you have seen it, it's possible that you haven't seen it. That the tower was not manned.
Yes, Father.
Would that answer also apply to weekly reports which you would have received from the commissioner or from Mr. Maho? I understand you don't always receive them, but would that same answer apply?
Maybe I have to go back to what I suggested to the Assistant Commissioner yesterday, that had he written a formal report to the Commissioner that the tower is not manned, perhaps attaching the list of requirements, the Commissioner would have minuted that to the relevant offices. It could be mine or the Finance Office or the Planning Office, and mine would be to make follow-ups as to how far we have been assisted get towards the repair of the tower.
But you are not answering the question, Mr. Song.
I'm sorry, I thought I was.
No, you are not, you are telling me of what should have happened. I understand that.
I'm sorry, my lord.
I'm simply saying, you are saying, as far as information from the diary is concerned, which you would have received from Mr. Manaka, you may or you may have not realized that the tower was not manned. That's your answer.
That is so, man.
Because you are saying there are instances where Mr. Manaka would send that information directly to you, especially in the absence of Senior Assistant Commissioner. So I understand the answer as far as it relates to the diary. You understand? Especially on instances where the diary would have been sent to you directly. But then I'm talking about weekly reports, quarterly reports, yearly reports. My question is, which you said you don't get all of them, but sometimes you do get them. Would the answer which you have given also be the same? Would it apply that even from the weekly reports or monthly reports, I may or I may have not seen that the tower is not manned?
If I had seen, that would have meant that the officer refused his supervisor's orders. That's how I would take it. If I had noticed that even to date, the tower is not manned. When I was here, when I was there in the meeting, when he was given an order, not for the first time. So that the implication would be that he was refusing to take the orders.
Hence, I'm asking. It could be always refusing to take orders and didn't want to take action against him. That's why I'm asking. Is your answer the same? That you may,
that is so,
or may have not seen?
That it is the same, my lord.
It is the same.
My lord.
But would you accept that it's you who really can tell us that I saw or I didn't see? You understand?
Yes,
it's you who can help the commission to say, no, I realize that this tower, if you read these reports, I'm not saying you are one of those managers who would want reports and never read them. You understand? If you read the reports, would you have failed to pick that?
I wouldn't, my lord.
You wouldn't have failed to pick it up.
That is so, my lord.
Okay. So, but what you are not sure now is whether you at some stage received a report which had duty roster.
That is so, my lord.
How can you be sure that one of the reports that I might have gotten from the commissioner or from Senior Assistant Commissioner had a duty roster for MCCI? What can remind you?
The file itself can remind me.
The file?
Yes, ma'am.
Which you would have received from the commissioner?
That is so, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. But now you cannot remember.
That is so, ma'am.
Okay. In the event, as you have accepted that you read the reports, you would not have missed that. In the event that you it is established that, look, one of the reports which that Solo got is a duty roster or had a duty roster. He was aware that this tower is not manned. He didn't take action. It would mean you are negligent as well, isn't it?
That is so, my lord.
Okay. I don't know if there are any questions. Commissioner, I have questions. Maybe I will remember some other questions. They may not relate to this issue that we inquired. Yes, we have questions.
I have only one question. Will 26, sort of person who's 26, emphasize that the commissioner should have regular visits to prisons in order to check the buildings, listen to the staff, and also to the prisoners. And then if he doesn't do that, he should delegate his juniors to attend to that. So my question is, if you know, after how long do the commissioner or his deputy visit Central Correctional Institution as one of the institutions which is regarded as being complex? That is the only question, because it is stipulated in the rules. What can you say?
Thank you, my lord. The question is two-pronged, as I understand it. It pertains to the commissioner having to visit the stations regularly himself, or delegate that to his deputies. That one of the commissioner having to visit, I think commissioner is the one who can answer that one. But as to deputies visiting the stations, I do visit Central myself.
Yes, you addressed that earlier. He was concerned about the commissioner. I know what you said with respect to your visits.
Yes. It does happen, my lord, that we visit the stations.
After how long?
I may not recall the frequency, but Central being nearer, I visit it more often than other stations because it has no budgetary implications.
Is this recorded in the visitor's book? If you are aware?
I cannot confirm, my lord, because I don't write the books when I visit the stations. The officers there have to make the entries.
Yeah. I'm surprised because on your testimony, you didn't even know that the remand prisoners were kept in B yard. Are you aware of that?
I didn't say I didn't know. I said I missed it, my lord.
But initially you say, you never mentioned the different block.
I admit, that is common. I can swap the blocks. It didn't mean I didn't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, one thing that I nearly forgot, or do you have questions? Okay, one thing that I nearly forgot, Mr. Solo. Is it discussions or what? Let me say they are discussions because they are friendly. We had a long discussions with you here pertaining to your visit on the date when you went to the control room with Mr. Malawa, Mr. Mahau, and the two technicians. We had a long discussion, you recall, in here. You recall?
Yes, my lord.
Because I would say, I even said to Mr. Mahau, I don't get plausible answers from you why you were here. because you had said you came here because there was going to be a meeting. You had been told to come to wait for Bahrom Pay here. But then you went back after watching the video footage even before they arrived. All I'm saying, we had a long discussions around that, you recall?
Yes, my lord.
And I think the minister, when he testified here, he alluded to ombudsman being here, struggling to get the video footage on the very same day that you came here. I'm saying that I seem to recall the minister saying that I got a call from ombudsman who said she was struggling to get the video footage. That is the date on which you came here and you said you were told to come here to meet Bahompe. You understand?
Yes, my lord.
So, and also, I have read the ombudsman's report where it will appear that you were even called to her to answer why charges cannot be preferred against you, or why she cannot recommend charges against you for refusing her access to the video footage, because it was like you had directed Mr. Malawa not to give her that video footage. Is that report correct, that at some stage you were called to the office to account about that and you accounted?
That is so, my lord.
Okay. There was that thing that you were refusing to hand over the footage. There was that allegation.
I think refuse is a strong word. I cannot allow the officers to give out any information without the authority of the commissioner.
I know that was your response. I'm simply saying from her view, you were refusing, hence she called you.
That is so, my lord.
Account. Otherwise, I'm going to take action against you for frustrating.
That is so, my lord.
Yes, that's how she had perceived it.
That is so, my lord.
Yes. It's because honestly, when I read that report, considering that I already had doubts with respect to the answers that you provided before the commission, why in the first place you came here on that date, was it the 10th of January? I can't recall. And then immediately rushed back after seeing what was contained in the footage. It reinforced my view. I wanted to comment. It reinforced my initial view that the senior officers came here to view the video footage, see how bad it was, so that they can go back to the office and advise the commissioner what to do about it. I want you to comment, because I have always said the answers that I'm getting from you and Mr. Mahau as to why you were here, and if indeed it was correct you were here because you were told that senior officer or Bahompe were coming here, but immediately after watching video footage you rushed back to office, it didn't make sense to me. Hence, after reading that report, it reinforces my view that the senior officers were here. Whether they had been sent or not, I may not be aware, but it's consistent with my thinking that they came here to watch the video footage, see how bad it is, to go back and advise the commissioner. What would you say?
I'm surprised, my lord.
Yes.
I don't remember us seeing the footage and then rushing to the commissioner's office and then coming to watch it for the second time now with Bahompe. I don't know that.
I'm not saying you came for the second time. All I'm saying is the answers you gave when we were asking, but what in the first place did you want here? You said that you were directed to come here to wait for either ombudsman or the ministers. You recall that?
That is so, my lord.
You have been directed to come here to wait for them because they were coming here.
That is so, my lord.
But then, after watching the video footage, you didn't wait for them, isn't it? You went back to your offices. You didn't wait for either the minister or ombudsman here, isn't it?
That is what I'm saying. I don't recall. We didn't watch the video before they came, unless my memory doesn't serve me well. We went there together with the two ministers and the ombudsman.
No, you might have forgotten, Mr. Solo. I don't think this one was a subject of discussions that you watched from Mr. Malawa's office. You went straight to control room. You watched the video footage. I recall even Sergeant Tola said that Mr. Maha was so confused that he left his motor vehicle there after seeing horrifying scenes on the video footage. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't a subject of disputation that you watched the video footage when you came here. Not with the ministers.
That was when you were with the ministers, my lord.
It's
Perhaps you can remind me whether we saw the footage before the ministers and then we went with them when they arrived.
okay. When if you can remember, when you were called and told that the ombudsman wanted to watch video footage, where were you? Were you not at the headquarters?
I was at the headquarters, my lord.
Were you not from, and she was here at MCCI with Mr. Malawa, isn't it?
That is so, my lord.
Were you not from headquarters, from MCCI?
I can't remember, but the dates are different. The date at which the ombudsman wanted the footage,
Yes.
is different from the date we came here to await her, while she had requested from the commissioner that she wanted to see the footage. It's not one day.
Days are different.
Yes, my lord.
Okay, but what you are saying is that you don't recall watching the video footage on your own with Mr. Malawa, Mr. Mahao, is Mr. Malawa, Mr. Mahao, Mr. Raseshoho, and Matola. You don't recall that?
I don't recall that, my lord.
No, it was like on the first. I will go back to the notes, but it was like it was not even a subject of contestation that from Mr. Malawa's office, you went straight to watch the video footage. You recall that incident where Mr. Raslu recorded you?
Yeah, I do, my lord.
You recall that?
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, from that you went straight to watch video footage. That's the evidence that we have.
If I remember well,
Yes,
from that office,
yes,
after being recorded, although we were not away,
yes,
we were awaiting the ombudsman.
yes.
But suddenly, the two ministers arrived and we got out to receive the ministers and we went to the OC's office for briefing. That's what I can remember.
Yeah, this is completely new. This is completely new.
That's why I said maybe I have to be reminded by those officers, my lord.
Yeah, this is completely new. From Mr. Mulawa's office, you proceeded to the control room. You proceeded to control room. From the control room, you went to headquarters. Hence, my question, which I was asking that day we were dealing with the issue. I don't understand what you mean. You are saying you came here because we were told that ombudsman was coming or the ministers. But then immediately after watching video footage, you rush back to your offices. It doesn't make sense. You recall we debated that.
I will have to rewind my mind, my lord.
Since you can't remember, Mr. Solo, it's okay. But I'm not sure if there is anything that you can. Evidently, that you said you don't have a question. I'm not sure if there is anything that you can say, Mr. Solo, by way of submissions. I'm not saying we have found anything wrong that we have done, but you have to persuade us not to make any adverse finding against you. You have this issue of the tower that was not meant, where the argument is that he knew that it wasn't being meant. It would mean that you were careless. If you knew, if it is established that you knew that the tower was not meant, it would mean that you were either careless or negligent. That's what I'm saying. You have to address us why you can't make any adverse finding against you as far as that one is concerned, because I think that's the only instance where you feature, where anything maybe that you can be blamed off, if you will eventually be blamed off, it relates to that incident. Anything else, evidence leader? Is there anything for which Mr. Solo there can be any adverse finding against him, so that he can address us one?
No, I don't remember any other things, Chair.
You don't remember any other thing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Also, Mr. Solo, you must also address us, even with respect to that recording. I know you accepted that it was unbecoming to have allowed the officers to discuss such an issue, or to even to utter the words that they uttered. Maybe you can address us, because when we will not have a chance to come back and say, but Mr. Solo, we think that we have made this adverse finding against you. Address us. You have to address us first and say, look, I have done nothing wrong myself. You can't make any adverse finding against me. You understand?
I do, my lord.
Yes. And I'm not even suggesting that there is going to be one. Because
I understand.
If I were to say that, it would mean that we are prejudging the issues. You have to go back, read the record, and you understand. Yes.
Okay. Pertaining to the tower, should I have been aware that the tower was still unmanned, even after the instruction had been issued? I accept responsibility. It has been negligence on my part. I should have done something. And I'm sorry for that.
Yes. You talk like your officers, at least you are not caught on camera doing anything. They only accept responsibility when they are where they were caught on camera. Otherwise, where they were not caught on camera, even those that were caught on camera doing something, then they would disown themselves and say, it's not myself there.
So I didn't get it.
No, all I'm saying is that you easily accept responsibility where you think you have erred. That is so, my lord. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, man.
Maybe you should teach your officers to do that.
I will, my lord.
Yes. Anything else to say?
I think that is that about the tower. Okay. I can now go to the clip.
Yes.
Pertaining to the clip, the commission will remember that I said, since the deliberations were made in my presence and I didn't stop the officers, I also accepted responsibility at that time when I was testifying here. And if I'm allowed to
Yes,
continue,
yes.
we are supposed to be a discipline service.
Yes.
And being a discipline service, we have to be seen to behave as such. I said it that it was unbecoming of an officer to record his seniors. I think we have to be helped in that regard. I was here when the officer was testifying, and I didn't see the commission getting shocked, asking him questions that, hey, how brave you were to record your seniors. Maybe that would have taught him a lesson. That is point number one. Number two, the ASP disclosed that he went straight to the Prime Minister to hand in the video clip. That is not expected of us, the corrections officers, let alone a person of that rank. I think it brings disrepute even to the position of the Prime Minister himself, because one would wonder, how are they related? How is it possible for an officer to rush straight to the commission, to the Prime Minister? There were other avenues which he skipped. Well, I don't know why. He said he felt threatened. One would have thought that he would rush to the Commissioner of Police or even his subordinates, perhaps for protection or otherwise. We also have the state security, the NSS people. One would have thought that he would say, hey, Director General, I have this. My seniors were discussing this. Can you do something? Because my take is that those people are the ones who can go straight to the Prime Minister, but it didn't happen that way. He should also have gone to the Commissioner, because the Commissioner is above me in rank. He could have said, Commissioner, I feel threatened, but this is what I have. We are subordinates, we're discussing this, but it didn't happen. I suppose the Prime Minister received the tape at that time. I don't even know how he manipulated the Prime Minister's guard, because my take is that the Prime Minister is under heavy guard, but my officer managed to pass through and hand in the record to the Prime Minister.
Is he not a strong man then? if he did something which you can't do, have access to fear.
Yeah, he seems very strong, but it has something to do with the general discipline, because we are supposed to be disciplined. And this one, I'm sorry to say, but I have to.
Yes.
One would have thought that the Prime Minister himself would be called to sit here and indeed confirm that he received the record from that officer. Perhaps there would be some other questions to the PM, because as I see it, one would have thought that the Prime Minister, upon receipt of the record, he would call the minister, a honorable minister, come with the commissioner. I have an officer here who claims to be a corrections officer, who claims to have a tape for me. Please come along with the commissioner so that we can receive this together. It didn't happen that way. And almost simultaneously, our minister received a text from another corrections officer who happens to be the ex-wife of the officer who was recording us. The corrections officer, the chief officer for that matter, is giving the minister an instruction. We are not trained to instruct the ministers. The minister was seated here and he read the text. It read, Hoto say, Bata tape thing. That instructive. And that is not how we communicate with our seniors, more especially the Honorable Minister. But there was no question to that effect. I didn't hear the commission asking, Honorable Minister, one would have thought that the commission would be shocked, but it just passed like that. So, as a deputy commissioner, I'm still shocked even today. Aisha tape. Kemokamidi na kwenye hata hai afam minister instruction. And how long it wa? Kana bana leka it wa kana. Fela hai ke kopa commission ke re thuse ho khutlisa bontshagela go le.
Okay. Yes.
I would like the commission to come to our rescue, because I feel like I am a manager at the wrong time, at times where an officer can run to the president and tell him stuff, and also his ex-wife can also run to the minister and give him instructions. I don't know if there's anything that can be done about them. Perhaps there's something which will be done to me.
Honorable Chair, I have a feeling that if that can be left like that, they'll keep on recording other officers. Perhaps I may not be still here by that time, but the whole system will be in disarray. I don't want to happen. May we be helped that if we have derailed this far, we want to get back to track. We want to see this system running as it should. The people who trained us did not train us to be like this. But right now, things are so chaotic that we don't know. But things are worse, and people don't enjoy working under these circumstances. I think the commission has heard how we respond to questions seated here. At times, one would get shocked away. How do you behave before the commission? And that needs an attention. Perhaps it might be wise for the commission to help us rectify these problems. This department is in trouble. And I used to think that we have the potential to make things right. But I've since realized that, do we really have it? I have some doubts now. But I'm not ruling out that we can be better officers. Maybe we have to be well-resourced, either through capacitation or otherwise. We always complain that we are under-resourced. That may be true, but it doesn't mean that we have to be doing what is being done here. And I want to also apologize on behalf of all my officers, because these officers who have, all of them who have appeared before the commission, they are my officers because they fall under my territory. I'm sorry about what they did, and I humbly plead that whatever recommendation is going to be made against them, in Bebegali somehow, we can do better. Given resources, we can change our attitude. We can change our personnel. They may not have been aware of what they were doing. Those atrocities were uncalled for. But here we are, they've happened. So my plea is that whatever recommendations are made, please, I'm Pebegama. Already we are confused. I hope the commission is aware that the system is confused. But I want to assure the commission that we have the potential to do better. That one I'm certain of. System, but I see the potential. We can be better people. I submit, Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Solo, for a moving statement. Yes, in as much as people have to be held accountable for what they did, we are cognizant as well of the fact that the primary objective should be to help the institution. And I would imagine that as management of the institution, you have a bigger role to play as far as restoring the institution where it used to be is concerned. All those things have all gone. So, but we have to remain positive and hope for the best. Maybe it's a crisis which you shouldn't waste. What happened to this institution? It's a pity that someone has lost his life, others are incapacitated. But take it as a crisis not to be wasted. We are thankful for your testimony as well as submissions, Mr. Sulu. You are otherwise excused.
Thank you.
Number 45, 520, Senior Assistant Commissioner Mathaba Commission.
Yes, Ms. Mao, I'm not sure if you prefer to just testify or you want to be guided by questions.
I'd like to be guided with questions, Chair.
I honestly would have more or less the same questions that I had for Mr. Sulu. In your testimony earlier, you confirmed that you get reports from, you actually said divisional commanders. Divisional commander.
Oh, the commander of the division.
It was when I was asking you, how do you ensure that the operations and this facility happen as they should? Because you are now at a strategic level. But still have to oversee that the operations have happened as they should. You recall that discussions? And you had said you receive reports in the form of daily reports, weekly reports, quarterly reports, and yearly reports. And you talk of returns. I'm not sure if this report would constitute returns. And at some stage you use the word M&E, being monitoring and evaluation. You recall that discussion?
That is so, Chairman.
What I honestly want to find from you, or rather you, because now you're asking questions and not testifying. Did I hear you well that every time you're asking Mr. Manaka questions, you were saying that yes, you send me your diary on a daily basis.
Nna ke la ka utlwa hantle no tsena di mana ka dipotso go la e hle o romela diary ha o letsatsi le letsatsi.
But I only look at the information that is relevant, that concerns me, which I need.
Empa fela ke tshela ditaba tseo ke di hlokang nna.
It is not like I look at everything that appears in the document that you send me.
Masolo ke shwa ntho mo le mo e hlaelang tokomane ntla bo ntumeletse yone.
Did I hear you well in that regard? That's what you are saying?
That is so true.
If that is the case, and you said that you do not need information pertaining to deployment or duty roster,
Mme ba ke nnete o itse ha o hloke ditaba tse amanang le duty roster le deployment kapa rona batho ba ile ho kae.
you don't need that information on a daily
Ditaba
basis.
tse letsatsi le letsatsi ha ke re. That is so true.
But that he includes that information in the diary.
Empa taba tse neng tsa di kenyeletsa mo diaring. That is so true.
And that you don't consider that information because once you would have gotten what you want, that would be sufficient as far as you're concerned.
Lo ga go se ditaba tse no banjele ha o so fumane ntho e hlokang ho tla bo ho lekane hore na o hlokang ka mo.
Should I understand that to be your testimony as far as it relates to the diary which he sends every day?
Go jalo go hlomphe ke la ba ka e tlatseletsa ga gore ntse le ho qoba hore se ka ba ka susumetsa taba ya deployment ya hae ka station.
That is so true because I even went as far as saying in order to avoid his deployment in the station.
In order to avoid influencing him.
In order to avoid influencing him on the deployment in the station.
Okay. It would mean that now I'm talking factually. Factually, you didn't see from the diary that maximum power was not meant.
Maximum That's correct.
Okay. Because you didn't read the entire information in the diaries. Okay. Let's proceed to weekly reports, monthly reports, as well as the reports that I talked about. We understand the processes that they are taken to registry, but you said you got them. Do you know if you are giving all of them?
Now, especially
those that are taken to the registry. Because we understand from the registry they go to the commissioner. Do you get all of the reports from the commissioner relating to security or from the stations?
Now, for my intelligently, the commissioner the station in Gadita.
Ha ke dumele ka ofela bane ka ya le ka ha deputy commissioner Tsolo a tshulo.
I don't think I get all of them, just as Deputy Commissioner Tsolo indicated.
Tse ding tsa dintho ga di makana.
We got shocked by some of the things
Se di hlaga tlaso.
when they now come from below.
But if there are those that you don't get, you must be able to see that there are those that you haven't received, because if your report would be is for a week, you must be able to say, oh, but I didn't get the report for the past 2 weeks. It's something which you can easily pick.
Lo ha ba sa fumana di report tse ding lokela ho hlokomela ha ba lo so fumana report ya bekena lokela mo hlokomela ga tshia beke tse petse fetileng a ke a fumana.
I'm saying on this is an issue where you should be able to say, yes, I don't get all reports, or I get some of the reports. You understand?
Ke bona mo ke tsholo go lokela o tsholo mo hlomo thola tse ding ka ha o di thole ka ofela.
Ke kopa mo hlomphe ke re tle re di a rwaya.
Yes, please.
Hona le di report tse mona tse ka ngolwang commissioner.
The reports you can be written to the commissioner.
No, yes, not weekly reports.
Yeah, but from the weekly reports.
I'm now on weekly reports. I'm just concerned about weekly reports about the stations. Weekly reports, monthly reports, quarterly reports, yearly reports.
Those are the kind of reports which I talked about them yesterday, that
ke di fumana e le di highlights tse hlahang ka officing ya security ho na le taba e tjena e hlahileng returning aids.
I received them as highlights from the security office.
Ke mane mo ke la ka tse ding tsa dintho ke na le hore o ke le mpheng nke ke tlo di bona ka mahlo kapo o ke le mpheng eno specifically bua ka.
That is why I said that sometimes I even ask them to give me the specific one they'll be talking about.
Hobane the return,
because the returns,
ha ke kena ka office ena ya SACC operations,
when I got into this office of SACC operations,
ke fumane le system e ntse sebetsa hore di shara teng e be jwale nna ke tlatla ke fuwa hore ka ho na le taba tse hlang returning e itseng.
I learned that they are taken there, and then afterwards I will get the report that there is such and such issue.
Who takes them there?
Ke batho ba office ya security.
Office of security.
No. I understand they are analyzed by office of security, but who takes them to the office of security from the registry?
Ha ke sure hantle na di tswa ka registering ka di hlaka ka office ya commissioner.
I'm not certain whether they will be coming straight from the registry or the commissioner's office.
So what we are not sure of is whether these reports go to commissioner's office from registry.
Yana ha ke sure hantle wana di ya ho yena straight kapo di ya ka office ya security straight, but
I'm not sure whether they go to him straight or to the office of security.
But the highlights ke di fuwa di hlaha ka office ya security kapo e nngwe ya dintho ha ba na le concern o commissioner.
But I get the highlights from the office of security, or if there's something which the commissioner is concerned about,
it
will now come as an order that I should go and attend a certain issue.
Meaning that you are not sure if the commissioner himself gets this report.
I cannot verify that, or I cannot confirm that, especially the returns.
But what we are sure is that your people get these reports. Though you don't know the source, whether they would be coming directly from the commissioner's office or from the registry.
Yes, Chair, they do get them in the office of security. Which is the system that I found in place when I got into this office. Which I even raised to Mr. Tsulu as a concern the other time, that I do not like, or this thing, the manner in which this thing is happening is giving me headache.
System management security operations,
and we agree that we're going to need to overhaul the system
security operations,
the security operation system management.
Okay, it means that these people, your people, they are the ones who decide what to give you. What you deserve to know, they are the ones who determine. This is what our boss deserves to know.
I believe that is the case, Chair, in that due to the shortage of the resources,
more than 6 months.
One can find that some issue arises every week for more than 6 months. For instance,
for a prison.
We told that a certain fence is not in a right condition or suitable condition for a prison.
ebe ha re ra e sebetsa e ba taba yana ho jwale e tlameha ho wela ka hara di-capital projects ha hona budget e jwalo ho sontso lokiswa torongo e itseng ho ka.
So when we want to address it, we'll be told of capital budgets, and they are already in the process of repairing that.
Now let's deal with this one, Mr. Maha. You don't get the reports as raw as they are from stations.
But
the reports are taken to the registry.
Registry.
From the registry, somehow they end up in your office. By your office, I mean security, not your officer search.
You
don't know if they would have gone via commissioner or not, but somehow they find their way to security office. Those reports are not based on your own evidence. They are not transmitted to you as they are. But they give you certain information for your action. Or they bring certain things to your attention. That's the process as you explain it.
That is correct, Chair, except for the cases where I will ask specifically to be given that whole document which addresses those specific concerns.
That would be when they would have already flagged the issue with you. Then you would be saying, no, I want the full report.
That is so true.
Hence, I'm saying it would appear to me that the system is designed in such a manner that people under you in security office,
they are
the ones who determine what you should know. Isn't it?
That is so true.
Yes.
Up to this far, we're still talking about security issues. And I said I don't only manage the security, but the running of the prison, which I take from Mr. Tsulo, who would have taken them from the commissioner.
Okay. But the issues pertaining to deployment, duty roster, would they be in the reports pertaining to administration, or would they be in the reports pertaining to security?
In both, Chair.
They'll be in both.
That's correct, Chair.
Okay. So let's talk of the reports which Mr. Manaka talked about. You get them from, do you get them from both? Being from your office of security, as well as from Mr. Solo? Yes.
Still in the returns, Mr. Manaka can sometimes phone me and tell me that there is an issue about a fence somewhere. It can also reflect in from the Office of Security as a report.
Okay. If it is not, if Mr. Manaka hasn't called you, it would maybe, but let's not confuse issues. I'm on the duty roster here. You understand? We have seen that it is submitted on a weekly basis. I would imagine that even on your monthly returns, maybe there is consolidation of that, isn't it?
That is so true.
Okay. That information, it goes to registry, from registry maybe to security office.
That is so true.
Okay. Then your security office, would decide which reports to bring to attention.
That is so true.
They don't bring all the reports to your attention that they get from stations.
That is so true.
In actual fact, if I hear you well, even that they take reports to you, but if there is something which they think is worth noting for your attention, they do that. From the reports, they do that.
That is so true.
Then you are at liberty to say, no, I want the entire weekly report to appreciate what the concern is.
Report e jwalo ke tlo bona ka nako nngwe ke bona sa tlhoka le gore ke be ke bone ke nke taba e ba e buileng kapo ba tla ba tlo e bua sa ntse ba tshwere file ga hona le taba e tsena ke ne ka bona se re kopa o le hloko.
Sometimes they'll raise up that issue and I'll ask them to bring the related document. Sometimes they just bring the report without necessarily telling me about it.
Do you have what guidance? What guides them to say, look, this one we think that we have to escalate to Senior Assistant Commissioner. This one we may not tell him about it. Do they have any guidance?
I don't think there's
such a guidance, but as I said, that things that reflect on the returns. Most of them are things which are being reported all the time. Except for that, sometimes there will be change in statistics. For instance, about how many inmates were in the institution for a certain period of time.
Okay. So let's come to reports from Mr. Manaka. Is it your testimony that after you talked to, you instructed Mr. Manaka to ensure that maximum tower was manned, you never received a report, a weekly report, monthly reports, from which you could have seen that that tower was not manned?
No, I haven't seen any.
You mean you haven't received, since that time, you haven't received any complete report from this station? Because I would imagine that a complete weekly report would also show deployment, isn't it?
That is true. After I had given him the order, or the instruction, I haven't noticed that such situation.
Would it mean there has never been anything that could have maybe caused you to ask for a complete weekly or monthly report from this station since you issued out that order?
I don't recall anything like it. What I recall is that the time when I was here, for the second time with Mr. Tsulu, we reiterated that that tower should be manned. After we realized that that one which was outside the fence at the back, it had been fenced.
But was it not fenced after the incident?
That is so true.
So when you say you repeated the same message, does it mean it was after the incident?
It was after the incident, Chair.
Does it mean even after the incident the tower was not manned? Yes.
I've discovered that that is when Mr. Manaka made a report requesting those things which he was talking about.
How about that one which you are saying now is fenced in? It was also not manned?
Jikela utlwa ka ene menno ya mena.
I
Lenyane ke itseng
I
maobane
heard like it was meant,
ha ke checka di-report tsa hae ka phone.
which I said that when I checked his reports on the phone,
Ke hlokometse hore ho la ba le di-officers tse theohelang ka morao.
I noticed that there were officers who went there to man that tower.
Okay, meaning that at least after the incident, the tower at the back, which is a new tower, has consistently been manned.
That is so true.
But the maximum tower was not being manned.
That is correct. This one, which Mr. Manaka is complaining that it has holes on the ceiling and the windows are broken.
Thus, meaning the tower, which was a new, I would say a new tower, that is fenced in, does it mitigate the risks, security risks that you are concerned about?
No, Mhlompeyi, nako eo re ne ntse re tsamaya le Commissioner Thulo.
No, Chair, when we were still going around with Commissioner Thulo,
A hlahloba setsi ditaba tsa di-security facilities
While he
on
was-
behalf of the Commission.
while he was inspecting the facility on behalf of the security concerns on behalf of the commission,
Re la ra bontsha concern ka yona taba o buang ka yona ke kopa ska ba ka iqapolla. It's not sufficient ho latela security eo re e hloka.
we raised the concern in the relation to the same issue that you were addressing, that it was not sufficient.
Mme re la ra dumellana hore na ho lokela hore ho tlo etsahale.
And then we came to an agreement as to what should be done about it.
Okay. Okay. The totality of your evidence as far as this issue is concerned is that I was not aware that the tower is not being manned subsequent to my instruction that it should be manned.
That is so, Chair.
Okay. One thing that I want to bring to your attention, it is not absolutely necessary, but I have to bring to your attention. I'm saying this because the inconsistency doesn't cause us a headache. You said that you were taking the rounds with Mr. Zunyani from security here when you observed that discrepancy, isn't it?
That is so, Chair.
Yeah.
Ke batla ke hlakisa
Yes.
ke hopotse commission.
And that
Ke sa
to
hopola
clarify,
hantle
Chair.
na ne ke fuwe mang. Kapo ene le morena Tsunyane.
I said I do not recall who exactly had been given to me, whether it was Mr. Zunyani.
But ke la ka botsa ofisi e nngwe re na le yona ya ofisi ya security o hlahana head office ang hopotsa na ke mang.
But I
Ka
asked,
morao re be ke la ka tswa ka mo.
but I asked an officer from the Office of Security to remind me after I'd left the commission.
Oh, you are aware it was not Mr. Singer.
Ka ya ka ke la ka re se ke se sho hantle na ne le yena kapo ke mang.
Yes, I
Fela
did
bitso la
say
ke la ka
that.
le bitsa batho ke sa re ke email yena ke re ha ke sa hopola hantle na email yena kapo ke mang fela re ne re fuwe ofisi ya central ntse re tsamaya le yona.
Yes, I did intimate that I was not sure whether it was him or who else, but I mentioned his name that I wasn't sure. But I know that we're given an officer from Central.
But now you are sure it wasn't him.
Ya Mhlompeyi le maobane ke kopane le yena le ofisi le yena o no thwe ke yena ene ke na le yona ke buile le bona ba
Okay.
ke maobane ha re tloa ka mo.
Okay.
Ke kopane le bona.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, no. As I said, I can't recall how you had put it, but he came here and he said it was not him. But as I said, you recall I premised my question by saying it doesn't cause us much headache, that discrepancy, because at least on one main issue, you are in agreement that subsequent thereto, there was a meeting with Mr. Manaka where the same instruction was given.
That is so, Chair.
Yeah. Even if you were to say no, you had come with your kit, that wouldn't matter. What mattered was whether subsequently that was brought to the attention of Mr. Manaka and what subsequently happened. You understand? That's what I'm saying. I'm just re-emphasizing that discrepancy doesn't cause us any headache.
Ke a leboha Mhlompeyi.
Something that I have to put you, because I want you to explain yourself. You know, when you are ambushed by people, is when, for instance, when you read our report, you see us having said something that we did not engage you on. You understand? That would be an ambush. You understand? How can this commission say this when it did not engage me on this issue? It would be unfair on your side, isn't it? That's why I want to engage you. I want to engage you on this issue. One may say, but how true is it that this man can say he has been receiving this, what you call, the diary from Mr. Manaka? Is it true that not once did he realize that the maximum tower was not meant, when he has consistently on a weekly basis been receiving this information? Is it true that he can really say that he was not aware that it was not meant? How would you respond?
Ha o le ka hlakoreng le ka nqano o botsa mong dipotso.
When you're on the other side asking questions, trying to establish something.
Yes.
One might
fail to understand some things or to appreciate them as they're being explained.
Yes, and once I don't understand, and I've been telling people here, I ask and I don't relent because I really want to understand. Because I've since realized that there are people who can come here simply because of their inability to explain themselves. You understand? That's why sometimes people may get offended by certain questions, but they are aimed at ensuring that I understand what you are saying fully. You understand? So just deal with this one. Just deal with this one. Make me understand. I'm saying somebody may say, this man is not telling the truth, but he has been consistently receiving these reports. How can he say not once did he realize that maximum power is not meant?
As I did say that there's a lot of work that I do and there's too much of it. And as I said that I'm responsible for the security in this ministry.
Supervision administration open camp open camp head office
and the
open camp head office
the administration of all these facilities except for Lepering and headquarters. And thirdly,
operations security international.
I'm still trying to bring the operations, but more especially in the security department, to be at the international level. And when I get the reports from the OC,
relevant to my office
and I check for things which I know that are relevant for my office to report to the office above me.
Security,
for security and administration in general. When I'm done with those, I put them aside and I report to Mr. Chula.
The security operations international.
After I've reported to him, I go back to that one, trying to bring our operations to this international standard.
Process security operations documented.
And currently, I'm at the point where I'm trying to we are trying to document everything related to the security operations.
Mohlala, ke la ka hlalosa hore LCS in a security framework.
For instance, I did intimate that LCS did not have security frameworks when I arrived in the ministry.
Consolidated international protocols, our local instruments,
which is consolidated and has the international standards and the local framework, and that is what I've done now.
You may not itemize everything, Mr. Mahau. You may not itemize everything. You are just making us understand how you missed that. You understand? Because when somebody reads our report, must also understand, but this commission, could it favored this man? He was being sent the reports. How can he say he didn't see? You understand? So that's why I'm giving you an opportunity to explain yourself in a manner that we understand, without necessarily telling us all the strategic initiatives that you are pursuing.
The report had
indeed, I still maintain that when the reports arrive,
but
Mr. Manaka does is that he photocopies the page on his diary. This is why we came to an agreement yesterday. That a certain issue which he had anticipated but had seen.
That
I did not notice that because it was your notes, and he did say that he even asked for, he even apologized and wrote it where he had to write it.
We'll take a break, Mr. Mahau, and we'll be back at 11:15. Commission shall arise. Let's all be back at 11:15.
Every time I look at my mom, I see my world. I see a protector, a provider. I see a friend like no other. Sometimes I sit and wonder, how do we protect such beautiful creatures? Well, sometimes you can't, especially against things like death. The least we can do is to encourage them to take Tari funeral plan, because they take care of us when they are here, and Tari will take care of us when they are gone.
The countdown to the second International Political Campaigns Expo IPE25 has begun. We are thrilled to invite you to register for the most electrifying political campaigns event of the year. This year's theme is Unlocking Voting Potential, the art of resourcing and skilling for winning campaigns. Look forward to innovative exhibits, interactive sessions with industry trailblazers, and unparalleled networking opportunities. Connect with political campaign professionals from over 26 African countries holding elections in 2025 and 2026. Gain exclusive insights into the latest trends and technologies driving political campaigns. Mark your calendar for January 23rd and 24th, 2025, and be part of the future of political campaigning. Visit www.internationalpollexpo.com to register. We can't wait to see you there.
Have you ever walked into a store, tried to buy something nice for yourself, only to find, wait, do I have enough cash? Don't worry, CPay has got you covered. Ask a friend, Nzame, through CPay. First, request payment. Enter your friend's details. Confirm the details. Have them approve the request. Then, proceed to make the payment for your purchase using the merchant code provided. Confirm the payment. Now, you are well on your way to enjoying your purchase. At your convenience, you can deposit, send, and receive money using CPay while also taking care of your utility bills. CPay, seamless payments.